Sometimes the smallest things hide the greatest surprises, and that's especially true when it comes to coins. Imagine holding a single dime, one so ordinary that it barely catches your attention. It's small, silver-colored, and has passed through countless hands. But what if that very dime turned out to be worth a life-changing amount of money? This is exactly what happened with the 1993 U.S. Roosevelt dime coin error, a modern-day treasure born out of a simple mistake at the U.S. Mint. It's one of those coins that make collectors' hearts race and keep everyday people checking their pocket change just in case they're the lucky ones to find it. The 1993 Roosevelt dime might not look different from the billions of others minted that year. On one side, it bears the familiar portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the beloved 32nd President of the United States, whose leadership through the Great Depression and World War II made him a symbol of hope and resilience. His profile, designed by John R. Cynic, has graced the dime since 1946. On the reverse, we see the torch, olive branch, and oak branch, representing liberty, peace, and strength. It's one of the most enduring designs in American coinage. But within this ordinary design, a few rare coins from 1993 hide a mystery that has turned them into some of the most sought-after error dimes in modern history. It all began, as so many great coin stories do, with a simple oversight. During the minting process at one of the U.S. Mint facilities, an unexpected die error occurred. Whether through a mismatched planchet, a double strike, or a missing mint mark, the result was a batch of dimes unlike any others produced that year. Collectors have identified a few possible variations of the 1993 Roosevelt dime error, including off-center strikes, double-die obverse impressions, and even transitional planchet mistakes where coins were struck on metal discs intended for a different denomination. Any of these rare conditions could make the coin extremely valuable. What makes the 1993 dime particularly fascinating is the timing. The early 1990s were a period of modernization at the U.S. Mint, with new technology being introduced to improve precision. Ironically, that very transition created room for small but costly mistakes. A slight misalignment, a worn die, or a mechanical hiccup could cause an error that went unnoticed until coins had already been released into circulation. For collectors, that's a dream scenario, because once an error coin makes its way into the public, it becomes nearly impossible to trace how many exist, making each one a piece of numismatic mystery. Stories of people finding rare 1993 error dimes have surfaced over the years, adding to the allure. One man from California discovered his after decades of saving loose change, noticing that the coin's lettering seemed oddly doubled when viewed under light. Another woman from Ohio found a dime that was slightly off-center and lighter than normal, suggesting it may have been struck on the wrong metal planchet. Each discovery sent waves of excitement through the collecting community, as experts confirmed that these weren't just minor flaws, they were genuine mint errors that transformed the face value of 10 cents into tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors and grading experts emphasize that condition and rarity determine a coin's true worth. For the 1993 Roosevelt dime error, pristine examples in mint state condition have fetched staggering amounts at auction. Depending on the type of error and how well the coin has been preserved, prices have ranged anywhere from $45,000 to $195,000. That's an incredible leap from a coin that could easily slip unnoticed into a handful of change. But for those who know what to look for, these small differences can be the key to an astonishing payday. Among the most desirable types of errors seen in 1993 dimes are the double die strikes, where the design elements, such as the letters in Liberty or the motto "In God We Trust," appear slightly doubled. To the untrained eye, it might just look like a blur or a shadow, but under magnification, it reveals the kind of distinct doubling that sends collectors into a frenzy. Then there are the off-center strikes, where Roosevelt's portrait seems shifted or incomplete because the coin wasn't properly aligned during striking. Each one tells a story about that brief moment in the minting process when something went wrong, and that's what makes it so special. What's most interesting about this particular year is that 1993 was not widely known for dramatic errors at the time. It took collectors years to realize that a few rare pieces had escaped quality control. Because of that, fewer examples have been found compared to other error coins from surrounding years. This scarcity only increases their desirability. In fact, auction houses and grading companies like PCGS and NGC have reported that when a verified 1993 dime error surfaces, it sparks immediate interest and competitive bidding among serious collectors. The rarity of such coins, coupled with their perfect blend of historical and mechanical intrigue, makes them irresistible. Imagine the feeling of holding one of these coins in your hand. It's light, only 2.268 grams, and small enough to lose between your car seats. Yet it could pay for a car or a year of college tuition, or even a down payment on a house. That's the incredible contrast that draws so many people into coin collecting, the idea that value isn't always visible. Can hide in the tiniest details, waiting to be discovered by someone patient enough to look. And the best part? These coins could still be out there. Every time someone rolls up coins to deposit at the bank or empties a change jar, there's a slim but real chance that a 1993 Roosevelt dime error is sitting among them. It might take a magnifying glass, a sharp eye, and a little luck, but history has shown that modern-day treasure hunts like these do pay off. Just one of these coins can change everything. What keeps the excitement alive is not only the money but the story. Every coin that carries an error is a physical record of a fleeting moment of imperfection inside one of the world's most precise manufacturing systems. The 1993 dime error reminds us that perfection isn't always what makes something valuable. Sometimes it's the flaws that create beauty and worth. In a sea of uniformity, that one coin that's just slightly different becomes something extraordinary. Collectors who specialize in Roosevelt dimes often consider the 1993 error variety to be one of the crown jewels of modern U.S. coinage. It bridges two eras, the traditional craftsmanship of earlier decades and the modern minting technology of the 1990s. It's a symbol of how even as the mint refined its processes, nature and chance found ways to leave their mark. Over time, as awareness of the 1993 error dime spread, so did its legend. Stories circulated in online forums and collector groups about finds in old bank rolls and coin jars. Some people started hoarding all their 1993 dimes just to inspect them later, hoping lightning might strike twice. It's this element of mystery, the possibility that a rare gem could be hiding in the most ordinary places, that makes the hobby of coin collecting so captivating. The growing demand has also meant that authentic examples are increasingly hard to find. Many are locked away in private collections or stored in protective cases, their owners unwilling to part with them even for impressive sums. As a result, prices continue to rise year after year. Some experts even predict that a pristine 1993 dime error in top mint state could one day break past the $200,000 mark as rarity and interest converge. That potential for future appreciation makes it more than just a collector's piece. It's an investment in history. Every coin like this represents a tangible connection to a specific moment in time, a piece of craftsmanship that slipped through the cracks but became unforgettable because of it. It's proof that even in a system built for perfection, humanity and unpredictability still find a way to shine through. So, the next time you find a 1993 dime in your change, don't dismiss it as ordinary. Take a closer look. Examine the lettering, the alignment, the strike. Look for any doubling, any misalignment, any small sign that something might be off. Because if you happen to spot one of those rare error examples, you won't just be holding 10 cents. You could be holding a rare treasure worth between $45,000 and $195,000. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story is much more remarkable than anyone could imagine. The 1980 U.S. Roosevelt dime is one such coin. At first glance, it looks like the ordinary 10-cent piece you've seen and used countless times before. Small, silver-colored, lightweight, and often overlooked. But among the billions produced that year, a few rare error coins slipped through the U.S. Mint's strict quality control, transforming an everyday coin into a hidden treasure worth an incredible amount of money. Some of these rare 1980 Roosevelt dime errors have sold for astonishing figures, with certain examples fetching between $52,000 and $155,000 depending on their rarity, condition, and specific type of error. To truly appreciate the mystery of this dime, we need to take a step back and understand the coin's origin. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away the year before. His legacy and leadership during one of America's most challenging eras made him a beloved figure, and the dime chosen because of his connection to the March of Dimes campaign became a fitting tribute. Designed by John R. Sinek, the coin features Roosevelt's profile on the obverse, while the reverse showcases a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. For decades, this design has remained consistent, but the minting process that brings these small pieces of metal to life is far from simple. In 1980, the U.S. Mint was operating at full capacity, producing hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes across its facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. With such large-scale production, errors were bound to happen. Minting errors occur for various reasons: misaligned dies, planchet issues, double strikes, off-centering. or even wrong metal compositions. And while most of these mistakes are caught before coins enter circulation, a few manage to escape undetected. Those few are what collectors dream of finding. Among the 1980 Roosevelt dimes, several types of errors have been identified, but one of the most captivating and valuable is the no-S proof error. Proof coins are special, high-quality strikes made primarily for collectors, produced with polished dies and planchets to achieve a mirror-like finish. Each proof coin typically carries a mint mark identifying where it was made. For example, coins from San Francisco bear an S mint mark. But in 1980, a small number of proof dimes were struck without that S. The reason? A simple oversight: the mint mark punch was omitted during die preparation. The result was a flawless proof dime missing its defining feature. It's a subtle error, but one with massive implications. Collectors were stunned when the first 1980 no-S dimes surfaced. How could such a mistake happen in an era of advanced minting technology? The answer lies in the human element of coin production. Despite automation, minting still involves intricate manual steps, and sometimes a single oversight can lead to history. For the 1980 no-S Roosevelt dime, that tiny omission turned a 10-cent coin into a numismatic legend. Today, the 1980 no-S proof dime is considered one of the rarest modern coin errors ever discovered. Fewer than a few thousand examples are believed to exist, making it a true treasure for collectors. The thrill of its discovery led to a frenzy among enthusiasts in the early 1980s, with coin magazines and dealers buzzing about the rarity. It was a vivid reminder that even in the modern age, when precision and consistency were thought to be perfect, surprises still happen. But the no-S proof dime isn't the only type of valuable 1980 Roosevelt error. Some business strike coins, the ones meant for everyday use, show remarkable mistakes too. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the planchet was misaligned during striking, have been documented. There are also double die varieties, where faintly doubled images can be seen on Roosevelt's profile or the inscriptions. A few examples even display partial collar strikes, giving the rim an unusual appearance. While these errors vary in severity and visibility, the rarest and most dramatic ones can fetch thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. In one memorable auction, a pristine example of the 1980 no-S Roosevelt dime sold for more than $50,000. As the years went on and the coin's fame spread, later sales shattered expectations. Some collectors, willing to pay top dollar for a perfect specimen graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, pushed the value upward, with verified specimens bringing prices as high as $155,000. For a coin that started as a 10-cent piece, that's an extraordinary leap in value. What makes the 1980 Roosevelt dime error story even more captivating is the way it combines luck, history, and attention to detail. Imagine holding a coin so common, yet so special, that only a trained eye could recognize its true worth. Most people would spend it without a second thought, unaware that a small imperfection could mean a small fortune. That's the essence of what draws collectors to error coins: the thrill of discovery, the excitement of finding beauty and value in what others overlook. Collectors who specialize in Roosevelt dimes often emphasize that the series is rich with history and variation. From the early silver issues of the 1940s to the modern copper-nickel compositions, each decade has its unique quirks. But few years stand out like 1980. It marked a transition period in American coinage, with new technology blending with old traditions, and sometimes that's when the most interesting mistakes happen. Beyond the technical details, there's something deeply human about the story of the 1980 dime. Every error coin carries the fingerprint of imperfection, a moment in time when something didn't go according to plan. It's a reminder that even in systems designed for precision, there's always room for unpredictability. The beauty of these coins lies in their flaws. They challenge the idea that perfection is always the goal. For anyone who loves coin collecting or simply enjoys a good mystery, the 1980 Roosevelt dime is an irresistible subject. Whether it's the no-S proof error or one of the rarer off-center or double die mistakes, each one holds a story waiting to be uncovered. Coin enthusiasts often say that searching through coins is like searching for history. You never know when you'll stumble upon something extraordinary. If you're curious about whether you might have one of these hidden treasures, it's easy to check. Take out any 1980 Roosevelt dimes you might own, especially if you have proof sets or older collections. Look closely under Roosevelt's neck, just above the date. That's where the mint mark should be. If you find one without the S mint mark and it's a proof coin with a mirror-like finish, you may be holding a valuable rarity. Even circulated examples can still be worth significant amounts if verified as genuine. The coin market has proven time and again that demand for rare errors never fades. As more collectors enter the hobby and as technology makes it easier to authenticate coins, the value of these extraordinary finds continues to climb. The 1980 OS Roosevelt dime, in particular, has become a symbol of modern minting intrigue, a testament to the unexpected treasures that still exist within U.S. currency and the world of numismatics. Where every detail matters, this coin stands as a perfect reminder of why people collect in the first place. It's not just about metal or money, it's about the stories, the discoveries, and the connection to history. The idea that a tiny dime, overlooked by millions, could hold such immense value captures the imagination like few things can. So next time you come across a 1980 Roosevelt dime, don't dismiss it as just another coin. Take a closer look, check the mint mark, and examine its details. You never know, that simple dime could be one of the rarest of its kind, worth anywhere from $52,000 to $155,000. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes, the smallest things carry the biggest surprises, and that in every pocketful of change, a little piece of hidden history might be waiting to be discovered. Sometimes, the smallest coins tell the biggest stories. In the vast world of American coinage, it's easy to overlook the dime. That tiny, silver-colored coin most people toss into a cup holder or ignore when it falls under a vending machine. But for collectors and numismatists, the 1993 U.S. Roosevelt one-dime coin holds a story of mystery, error, and unexpected fortune. What began as a routine year of minting for the U.S. Mint became the source of one of the most intriguing modern coin errors ever discovered, turning a few ordinary dimes into treasures worth as much as $40,000 to $140,000. The Roosevelt dime, first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, has long been a symbol of American resilience and progress. Its design, created by John R. Sinek, is simple but elegant. Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and a torch flanked by an olive branch and oak branch on the reverse. Year after year, the mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins with machine precision, ensuring that every piece met strict standards. But in 1993, something went wrong. A small, almost invisible minting error slipped through quality control, and that mistake created a new chapter in the dime's history at first glance. A 1993 Roosevelt dime looks perfectly ordinary. Most people wouldn't notice anything unusual about it. The metal composition, a copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core, is standard, and the diameter and weight match any other dime. But the difference lies in the details, in the subtle marks that only careful eyes could catch. Some of these 1993 dimes show doubling in the lettering, others display striking misalignments or off-center designs, and a few even have missing or partially struck features. These are the kinds of minting errors that collectors dream of finding, because they represent rare moments when precision gives way to imperfection. One of the most notable and valuable varieties is the 1993 double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin receives multiple impressions slightly out of alignment, causing the design to appear doubled in certain areas. On the 1993 dime, the doubling can often be seen on Roosevelt's profile, particularly around his eye, lips, and the motto, "In God We Trust." The letters appear slightly blurred or shadowed, giving the coin a distinct appearance under magnification. Such doubling errors are not only visually interesting but also extremely valuable because they're the result of a rare mechanical misstep that's hard to reproduce. Another fascinating 1993 dime error involves off-center strikes, where the design is shifted so part of it is missing or cut off near the rim. Depending on how off-center the strike is, the coin can become exponentially more valuable. A dime that's struck 10% off-center might be worth a few $100s, but one that's 50% off-center with all visible details and date intact can fetch thousands. Add a 1993 date and mint mark, and you're looking at a collector's dream, a coin that could easily reach tens of thousands of dollars in the right auction. There are even a few 1993 dimes struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were accidentally minted on metal blanks meant for other denominations, such as a penny or a foreign coin. These kinds of errors are the holy grail for error collectors because they demonstrate how unpredictable and fascinating the minting process can be. Imagine a dime-sized coin that's actually copper in color or slightly lighter or heavier than normal. That's the type of anomaly that sparks global excitement among numismatists. But what really makes the 1993 Roosevelt dime so captivating isn't just the variety of errors. It's the value they've reached over time. As awareness of these rare mistakes spread through collector communities and auction houses, prices began climbing. Some pristine examples graded by top coin certification services like PCGS or NGC have fetched staggering amounts. Depending on the error type, clarity, and preservation, these dimes can sell for anywhere between $40,000 and $140,000. That's an unimaginable return on a 10-cent coin that most people would never give a second glance. Collectors and coin hunters often share stories of how they stumbled upon such treasures. One tale tells of a man who found an odd-looking 1993 dime while sorting through a pile of change he'd collected over years. The slight doubling in the lettering caught his attention. After some research and a trip to a local coin shop, he learned it was a genuine double-die error worth over $50,000. Another collector purchased a roll of dimes from the bank, only to find an off-center 1993 dime so well preserved it later sold at auction for nearly six figures. These stories fuel the passion of everyday coin enthusiasts who still believe that hidden gems might be waiting in their pockets. Part of what makes the 1993 Roosevelt dime so significant is its timing. By the early 1990s, the U.S. Mint had modernized many of its processes, making major minting errors increasingly rare. Automated systems and electronic checks meant that errors like double dies, off-center strikes, and wrong planchet strikes were supposed to be nearly impossible. Yet somehow a few slipped through. That contrast, a high-tech mint producing coins with vintage-style errors, adds an extra layer of intrigue for collectors. It's as if the mint's past and future collided in 1993, leaving behind a handful of coins that defied the odds. When you hold a 1993 dime in your hand, you're holding more than just a small piece of metal. You're holding a piece of precision engineering, human oversight, and a touch of history. Roosevelt's portrait, the flame of liberty on the reverse, the crisp inscriptions. All these details tell a story of America's post-war confidence and the continuing evolution of its coinage. But when one of those coins bears an error, it tells an even more powerful story, one of rarity born from imperfection. Collectors often describe the thrill of the hunt as one of the best parts of the hobby. There's something almost magical about searching through everyday coins and suddenly spotting a small anomaly that could change everything. The dream of finding a dime worth up to $140,000 keeps that spark alive. Each coin tells a story of what might be hidden among the ordinary, a reminder that sometimes extraordinary things hide in plain sight. Even if you never find one of these rare 1993 error dimes, simply knowing about them adds a layer of appreciation to something as common as a dime. It changes how you see coins, no longer as just money, but as miniature pieces of history that could hold secrets. The idea that a simple oversight at the Denver or Philadelphia Mint could produce something so valuable captures the imagination of collectors everywhere. If you want to check your own 1993 Roosevelt dimes, here's how to start. Look carefully at both sides under a bright light or magnifying glass. Examine the motto, "In God We Trust," 4 signs of doubling, especially near Roosevelt's face and the rim. Check the reverse for any off-center designs or missing elements. Feel for slight differences in texture or weight that might indicate a wrong planchet. These are the telltale signs that your dime might not be just another piece of change. It could be one of the rare treasures from that unusual minting year. Over the years, many of these coins have found their way into collections or auction houses, but it's believed that a few are still out there. That's part of what keeps collectors searching. The idea that one small coin could be worth $40,000 to $140,000 creates a kind of modern gold rush for pocket change. Every time someone empties a coin jar or rolls up loose change for the bank, there's a tiny chance they're holding one of these legendary mistakes. The 1993 Roosevelt dime error coin is a perfect example of how imperfection can become perfection in the world of numismatics. It's a symbol of how even the most minor human or mechanical error can lead to something of immense beauty and value. These coins remind us that history, luck, and craftsmanship can align in the most unexpected ways. So the next time you spot a 1993 dime lying on the sidewalk or in your change, don't overlook it. Take a closer look, because that little coin could hold a secret, a story, and possibly a fortune. Somewhere out there, a few of these rare dimes are still waiting to be found, quietly hiding in the hands of someone who thinks they're just 10 cents richer. And when that person finally looks closely enough, they might just discover that they're actually holding a piece of American minting history worth a life-changing sum, between $40,000 and $140,000, all born from a tiny, almost invisible error that turned an ordinary dime into an extraordinary legend.